Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today. We're going to unpack a really fascinating story about identity, belonging, and how a nation legally defines its people in our crazy modern era of massive global mobility. Today, we're diving right into the foundations of Philippine citizenship.
So let's just jump right in with a massive question. Does taking another passport mean you're no longer Filipino? I want you to imagine moving abroad, navigating these huge international labor markets, settling down, and eventually getting a second passport. Have you completely severed that fundamental tie to your homeland? Well, what does the law actually say about who you are? That's exactly what we're going to figure out today.
Here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at who actually is a Filipino. Second, how you go about gaining and losing that citizenship. And third, the big one, the dual citizenship dilemma.
All right, part one, who is a Filipino? We really need to pin down this transnational link.
As we go through this explainer, I kind of want you to think of the state almost like a character in a story. A character that's trying its absolute best to maintain a vital, enduring link with its people, even as they spread out all across the globe. To really grasp the power of a state, we have to establish who definitively belongs to it. And the 1987 Constitution sets very precise, exclusive boundaries for this. You're a citizen if you were already one when the Constitution was adopted, if your parents are citizens, if you were born before January 1973 to a Filipino mother and you elected citizenship, or finally, if you went through legal naturalization. Those are the four strict gates.
And honestly, this perfectly illustrates the whole concept of jus sanguinis. It's citizenship by blood or descent. This is entirely different from jus soli, which just grants you citizenship based on where you physically happen to be born. The Philippine framework is literally blood over soil, and this creates an incredibly powerful transnational link. Because it's based on blood, the state maintains its jurisdiction and affords protection to its citizens no matter where they physically are in the world. It really reinforces that state sovereignty is highly personal.
Now, inside that group of citizens, there's a huge legal distinction we have to make. Natural-born versus naturalized citizens. Natural-born citizens belong right from birth, without having to perform any legal act whatsoever to prove it. Naturalized citizens, on the other hand, acquire it through a formal legal process. Though it is worth noting that those folks we mentioned earlier who elect citizenship under the 1973 rule, the kids of Filipino mothers, they're actually explicitly elevated to natural-born status by the Constitution the second they make that choice.
Oh, and we absolutely can't forget about the most vulnerable here. Philippine jurisprudence actually steps up and explicitly extends these citizenship rights to foundlings, ensuring that they inherently possess a secure legal identity and a real place to belong. Okay, moving right along to part two, gaining and losing citizenship and really navigating global mobility. Because let's be real, what happens when citizens actually leave? Millions of people are out there navigating these massive global labor markets and building transnational lives. How does the law adapt so that finding an opportunity abroad doesn't completely strip away your legal identity back home?
Well, the answer to that lies in a total game changer of a law, Republic Act number 9225.
Also known as the Citizenship Retention and Reacquisition Act of 2003. Basically, this act allows former natural-born Filipinos who took on another country's passport to just get their Philippine citizenship right back, or keep it. Think of this as an incredibly important economic and cultural lifeline for the diaspora. It totally softens this rigid, hard law so Filipinos can chase global opportunities, like working abroad, sending remittances, starting businesses, without permanently severing their ties to home. So, we've got the standard ways to get citizenship right: birth, naturalization, and election. But let's talk about retention for a second, because this is super interesting. Look, love might conquer all, but it doesn't automatically conquer your legal status. Citizens who marry an alien actually retain their Philippine citizenship unless they go out of their way to formally, legally renounce it. That legal tie stays incredibly strong. Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, part three, the dual citizenship dilemma, where we balance opportunity and loyalty. This is absolutely the climax of our explainer today. We have to understand the massive, massive difference between dual citizenship and dual allegiance. Dual citizenship is usually just an involuntary overlapping of laws. Think about a kid born to Filipino parents in a country that uses jus soli or birthright citizenship. They automatically get two passports. They didn't ask for it, the laws just literally overlapped. Dual allegiance, on the other hand, is the intentional, simultaneous loyalty that you owe to two or more states. And when it comes to intentional dual allegiance, the Constitution literally does not hold back. Article 4, Section 5 straight up says, dual allegiance of citizens is inimical to the national interest and shall be dealt with by law. That is a hard, strict prohibition. No gray area there. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, wait, doesn't that 2003 law we just talked about create a huge problem then? Actually, scratch that, it doesn't. The Supreme Court stepped in and clarified that allowing for dual citizenship does not violate the constitutional ban on dual allegiance. Domestic laws just overlap all over the world. Allowing dual citizenship is really just a practical reality of modern global governance.
Instead, think of the dual allegiance ban as this fierce internal shield. It's there to protect national security, the absolute integrity of public office, and foreign policy. It basically ensures that, while yes, you can totally benefit from holding two passports, your political loyalties cannot be divided when it comes to serving and protecting the state. So as we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with something to really chew on. In this increasingly borderless world we live in, where does your allegiance truly lie? We've seen how the law brilliantly adapts to give citizens global mobility, all while fiercely protecting that sovereign link through jus sanguinis and a strict ban on divided loyalties. It's just a fascinating balancing act of embracing the whole wide world while remembering exactly who you are. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.